Hey everybody, good to be back with you on this Monday night doing another live. Hopefully you all are doing well this week. Hopefully you're keeping track of what's a little bit difficult. So I can always usually remember that today is my Facebook Live day because I teach Yoga Sculpt. So as long as I don't forget to do Yoga Sculpt, I should be here. I was also thinking earlier, right before I came on, I was having some internet troubles, but I was like, why do I do this Facebook Live at the end of a Monday after I've taught Sculpt? My hair's usually a mess. Instead of, getting all glammed up like you see a lot of people do for their lives, probably maybe a little bit smarter. They look all great, but I figure you guys are my people, so you know what I look like anyway. I might as well just be real, right? And I'm just drinking some water this evening. I'll probably have a little bit of wine later, but we had a rousing evening of after dinner sports at our house. We did a game of horse with basketball, and then we played a little soccer. So hydrating up here this evening after Sculpt and then family sports. So I hope you all are doing well. And what I thought we could chat about is the idea of virtual yoga classes. And if they're offered via Zoom, like what I do, you have the option as a user of turning your own video on. Because obviously you can see me, and I have my video on, but everybody else is optional, and I like it that way. And we're going to talk about video and pros and cons, but I in no way pass judgment either way. I totally get it. I actually took a virtual class around Mother's Day, I think, with somebody, and I didn't know the teacher, and I didn't turn my video on. I wanted to kind of be incognito, and so I get it. It's no pressure. But I have been asked what my thoughts about video during virtual classes, what my thoughts are, and so I thought we could chat about it. And if you have questions or if you have thoughts, or as you've taken virtual classes, things have evolved or you've come to feel a certain way or notice something, please pop it in the comments. I would love for this discussion to continue beyond and for me to be able to hear from you all, because virtual classes are going to continue for a little while. We're not out of the woods yet with this COVID thing in our area. If you live where I do and practiced with me at the studio, we're seeing a continual uptick in cases, not a decrease. So I'm going to continue doing virtual group classes until that starts to plateau and decrease. So I hope that either way, with video or without video, you will still join me for those classes and kind of help with that support to keep my business going in this time. So a couple of things about video that maybe are just clarifications. So my video, of course, is set back so that hopefully everybody can see at least most of me at all times. Your video does not need to be that. If you're going to turn it on, you don't need to feel like, oh, if I'm going to turn my video on, it would have to be in a big enough space that I'm far enough away from it that they can see me completely. If you've taken classes with me, you'll see that that's rarely the case. Everybody just has it on wherever they put their phone that they like to see me best. So I don't see, and nobody sees all of the other people. So that's one thing. If you're like, well, I can't turn my video on because I can't get it far enough away, you don't need to worry about that. It's not about me seeing every inch of your practice. Another thing, if you're curious about turning your video on, one great way to start is just at the beginning, before class starts, and maybe at the end, so like the hi and the bye, right? I love that because then I still get to see your face, and we get to have that connection. I get to have that connection of seeing you and hearing you. And the movement part, you're turned off. No one sees you. You don't have to worry, anything like that. So that could be a way to, if you're wanting to build connection with the other people in the class, maybe you turn it on at the beginning and at the end, but not during the class. That could be maybe a happy medium. It's also a good entrance into getting familiar with the camera and the microphone. And I remember when I was considering starting this Facebook Live once a week and being really uncomfortable. And then that first time, like, oh my gosh, I'm going live, and what's this like? And I remember multiple people telling me, like, once you get started, it gets easier and easier. And it's very true. It's easier every Monday because I've done it for months now, more than 6 months. And so that's, I think, the same as being in front of a Zoom camera as well. I hate seeing my own yoga flows and listening to myself back, but it gets easier and easier to do, and I get easier and easier on myself for the mistakes. I'm only human, and so I'll say something and be like, no, that wasn't right. And so we're human, we're all human, and we're all just, trying to enjoy that yoga class together. So that could be a really easy way to start, turning it on just for the hi and bye. And especially if you worry that if your camera is on, it's going to be distracting to you. You're going to be looking at your own camera and seeing, what do I look like? Or if you're really worried about how it looks to other people, even though you're probably tiny on their screen, then that's a good medium for that too, that it doesn't distract from your practice because you're only coming on at the beginning and at the end. And I have lots of people that do it that way, and I love that because, like I said, I'm selfish and I want to see you and I want to get some of that, that connection too, of it feeling like we're in the same space. So I do love that element of the cameras that are on. And I have some classes that tend to have more cameras on than other classes. And I think that's pretty natural. I think that makes sense. Sometimes it depends on if one person turns their camera on, then I tend to get others who turn their camera on. It's very much like my day job as an English professor. If one person asks a question, more people will ask questions. If nobody asks a question, nobody's going to. It's like that first person has to take the leap, and then others know it's safe. So if you are comfortable with video, you can be that first person, and you can show your video and show other people who might be like, I would, but no one else is, so maybe we don't turn videos on. There's some of that unknown, and if somebody turns a video on, I think it makes it easier for other people to do it too. And I think it allows you to connect. I have a couple people who didn't take the same class together before and have kind of met over Zoom and gotten to be like, oh, hey, you're here again. Your little box is there. And I love that part, right? That we're still able to build that community of our studio, even via Zoom. And I, of course, feel less alone, like I'm talking to just a black box. And I can also tell if you're moving that, like, my mic is working, things are coming through clearly. I also can estimate if there's a bit of a delay and how much of a delay there is, and if things are just going smoothly. So that's nice. When everybody's cameras are off, it's harder for me to know that things are going through correctly, if that makes sense. So that's always nice when videos are on, that I can kind of look and be like, okay, yes, we're all still here. It's working, they can hear me, that type of thing. So I would love if you had other thoughts about video with virtual classes, what you've done, maybe since we've been doing virtual classes for several months now, if you have evolved in your approach, maybe you have started using your video and you didn't think you would, or if you haven't, anything. I would just love to hear this conversation continue. And additionally, I wanted to remind you that if you are practicing at home with me, or you're thinking about it, since this is continuing longer than we would like it to, practicing at home is different and has its own unique challenges. And so I do have a free 5-day email challenge that helps you work toward building a space in your home where you can practice consistently. That can become your sort of designated space, and that the more you practice in it, the more comfortable and fulfilling and great it becomes. So it's all via email each day for 5 days. You get an email and we kind of try to tackle one common hurdle or obstacle related to practicing at home. And immediately when you sign up, you get a workbook you can download. You can print it, or you can just look at it online. It's designed to work either way, that you can jot things down somewhere else if you don't have a printer or don't want to print it out. Or you can print it and write on the workbook itself. But you get that workbook right away. It also comes in that first email if you missed the download. And then each day from then on, for 5 days, you get an email with video and some freebies that come hidden in those emails. So check that out. It's on the screen here, bit.ly/yogawithtg challenge. Should be a shortcut, take you right to it. I would love to have you join in, because practicing at home is different, but it's also great in a lot of ways. So I want you to feel as comfortable practicing at home as you can. So I'm going to be working on additional things to kind of try to get us through the summer, keep us motivated, and keep us coming to the mat. If you have ideas, let me know. I want to know them. Summer, I know, is a difficult time. So yeah, I'm going to be working to keep you on your mat. So help me out here. All right, I hope you have a great night and a great week, and enjoy summer solstice on Saturday. I have a 9 a.m. yoga flow. Would love to have you join. So reach out, let me know what classes you want to take, what classes you want me to do, ideas you have, and join that challenge so that we can yoga at home or wherever we are. All right, have a great night.